Okay.
They definitely have.
All right. Start on King's Row. On Ryan Zarya. So at this level, you do want to try to think a bit more about what your teammate is playing, how to play around it, and because again, like even if it doesn't matter in solo queue, this is a habit you're gonna want to start building for yourself because you're gonna be playing on a team environment. So right now you think, okay, I have a Zarya. And Zarya players absolutely despise playing with Orysas because they don't want to use any more brain power than they need to get their energy.
Yeah, also, one thing that happened on that was I picked and ran the point, and then he picked.
I see.
I didn't wait for him to pick.
Then he opted into it, and then it's his fault. So if that's the case, then you know whatever. Wait, hello? Oh, that works. But what that's gonna mean for you is that you're gonna have to, like, especially on this level, like he might not just like, I mean, he's already talking, but he might not be ready to communicate bubbles or coordinate them. So you're gonna have to pick up some of the work. And as a main tank player, if you're gonna get on a team, you're probably gonna end up being put in a shot calling position, one way or another. At least for some comps. Some comps, main tanks don't shot call as much. Kind of depends. A lot of teams get into this idea that there's only one person that shot calls no matter what the comp is, but it doesn't really work that way. So you're gonna have to try to like ask a lot of questions about Zarya's bubble cooldowns, and hopefully she answers. And if not, then you're just gonna have to like try to get some context clues. Like if you see your Zarya bubble, okay, see like now your Zarya bubbled without telling you, and probably just got 0 energy. So that's kind of up to Zarya to not do that. But if you talk to Zarya, because Zarya was in voice chat, you could have said, hey, this is how I want to play bubble here, or how
She used her personal on me too when the shield was when the May wall was up.
Yeah, that's classic Zarya with Orisa. Just how players do it. So you're just gonna have to take a bit more initiative, you know.
Yeah.
You're stacking shields, which is good.
Hey, I'm fucked.
Here, one of the things that you do need to think about though when you're doing this is have some foresight, because I feel like here you just kind of did it just to do it. But you did kill an ant, so they're probably not going to push. But let's say that they were going to push pretty soon. Would you do this up shield?
No, not if they were like walking in, like about to just come in on us, probably just placed on the ground.
I'm fucked.
Right.
May top left.
I was just cutting it a little close. But it is important to think, because if they're going to just go in, then you could just let the shield just die and then make the new shield without throwing it up. Cutting back, which is good. Fortifying is good. You're going to have to walk back a little more.
Yeah, I think I stay up and get walled off.
Yeah.
That's either now or later.
Working out. Oh, he walked up. So walking back was good, because your team was respawning. It's okay. I mean, people do this on this map all the time. They're just like, hey, let's just trade 1 or 2 ticks to get a respawn and contest, which apparently for some reason people only remember to do on this map and not any other point. But it's pretty easy to do, at least. But from here, you made the mistake of going in when you didn't actually have cooldowns, because you used all your cooldowns to keep tanking and escape when you were getting pushed off the point. Like you fortify for the Doom Punch, which is good. Ally Bubble goes down on you. Then you make a new shield, and that's good. But now you're like 5 seconds away before you could start tanking again. So you should just be backing up, do your reload, and now you literally just wait. Like you could halt to help the team while you're waiting, but you just can't go in because you're already even down on armor health too. But once you're full and once you have your cooldowns back up, then you go in and everything is okay. If you just waited, everything would have been fine.
So yeah, just wait for my cooldowns.
Yeah. Like being aware of your, like, you have to think of literally the cooldown bar as a resource, because there are times where I just think like I could make a play because I see that my shield is only 3 seconds away from coming up. So as like this box, as it fills up, you're thinking like this is a resource, just like your shield health. Like if you're Ryan, you know, you have your little shield bar that fills up over time, and you know when it's at this point I could do this kind of play and probably not die. Well, it's the same thing with your cooldown meters on this, because that shield is being regenerated inside of your pocket. So, like, once your shield gets to, like, 2 seconds and your fortify is up, if it came up first in that order, in this case it did not, but, you know, you would be able to walk up, and then if things got bad, you could fortify, and then you could shield, but, you know, just have to think that many steps in advance. And it's not that far, it's just a few seconds. But here you just kind of, I think you panicked, and, like, and they were going to get another tick, but it doesn't matter.
Don't worry about point. We have to win the
Team
fight,
picks
or
it up
we-
anyway,
won't matter.
but you didn't have to die for it.
Yeah. I didn't really respect if they had a May wall either.
May and Tor.
Well, her name's not-
Keep holding tab on the way in.
I'll go top right.
Someone's on Torb, dude.
Tell me how to. I'm dead. I'm dead.
Yeah, they ran quite the comp,
Oh boy.
and
got
it
memed.
somehow worked.
May left side.
Nice.
Watch out, run.
Wait. You might have done a toaster fortify.
I got memed.
May left side.
Yeah, like you
Got memed. Tell me how
threw
to-
up the
I'm dead.
shield, which is like okay, but it didn't need to go up that far because now you can't actually use it. You threw it up for Lucio, but now you're not protected from all angles, and it kind of scares you into fortifying. Didn't matter because Blizzard was kind of thrown for no good reason.
Alright.
Master tier.
That was a waste of a May wall, we're good.
Watch the turret. Play around the rest of shield, so if he multins, it won't fuck everyone. And ping kills.
Oh,
for you.
that's on top
We
left.
didn't need to up shield there.
There's a few.
With all their
teams
team
there.
dead, you could just play to keep pushing, and then when they're respawning, you can do the up shield, and we have plenty of time.
You guys heard about me.
Maze in our back line.
May behind still.
Maze in the hotel.
Doom is one. Doomfist is solo.
May is still behind. May is still behind us.
Preemptive fortify.
Boosted Ryan.
What?
Shitty grab. I thought they boosted Ryan.
Yo,
Reloaded
May
with
behind.
100 bullets, but it's not. It's didn't make a difference.
May behind.
Run Discord, right side.
You should have tried to reload before you supercharge.
Right behind you guys.
Like, one of the things about Arista mechanics that's really important is to, like, you know how, like, you could reload and the bullets go into your gun before the whole animation finishes, etc.
Yeah.
Well, getting a good sense for that timing is really important because, again, like, a lot of what you do on Arista is just planning, like, a couple seconds ahead. It's like right here, you might say, okay, I need to use my bongo. Like, let's say the fight's getting to a place where I need to use bongo.
I'm behind too.
Well, right now, I wouldn't even do it here. I would say, okay, in 5 seconds, my barrier's coming up. I'm going to need to barrier this bongo. Then I'll have halt to combo, like, my bongo extra damage on whoever tries to fight me. So I would start moving to whichever point in the map I would want to do the bongo. So maybe you want to do it on the point so you can test, or you could do it, like, you could do it over here, or you could do it, like, on this wall, or, like, the wall against the point, you know?
Yeah.
Just to, like, shell yourself in, and then if anyone tries to walk into you, you'll have your halt ready. So for that, you know that you just need to be ready in the next 4 seconds. So your plan should now be, like, I'm just going to shoot Torb's turret, or whatever, to try to keep it down from going to level 3 for, like, 2 seconds. Then you're going to reload. And then when the reload finishes, like, your shield will be ready in, like, 1 second. Then you plop down the bongo. Then you plop down the shield. And then you'll already have halt. And if anyone comes close, like, you know, you kind of bait them. Because you're like, oh, Arissa's not going to kill me in one shot right now because, you know, she's just by herself. But then you throw down a shield and a bongo, and then, you know, you're all good. And you have fortify too. So even if May tries to go on to you, you still have plays available. Also, because you're against the May, you really need to worry a lot about this cooldown. Like, every good May player, which, you know, is like, what, 2, 3? Every good May player is going to, like, obsessively track this cooldown. Because killing Orisa is, like, Orisa's, like, the highest value target in, like, in almost any given comp she's in. So if May could just freeze you, then they're gonna target you. So you have to have this cooldown ready. So every time that you are you're forced to use it, you should, like, kind of feel bad. And any time that you accidentally use it, you should feel really bad. And there were, like, a lot of times on this where, like, you just fortified for, like, there was, like, nothing even around you and you weren't threatened. And against a better May player, you would get walled and frozen, and it's really bad.
May behind.
So
Run
here
Discord,
you
right side.
you plop down the bongo,
Right
but
behind you guys.
Like it dies immediately because it wasn't in a good spot.
Somebody trigger.
I can't stall. I can't stall.
You didn't really get much value of anything.
Sorry, bad grab, but I'm close to nothing.
Considering how many people were dead, it was probably better just back up to Arch again. But you did not have
Moira.
they had 2 ticks already, so it was really spooky.
Skill, by the way.
Kill them right after this.
Get out of there, Scoobs.
Yo,
Oh, now there's
skill, by the
Ryan.
way.
Ryan is
Let's
good.
come next fight, Zarya.
Hey,
What's up?
Look your grab, look your grab.
Alright,
I
You're
have
close
a
to
pair.
a grab too, so you should get your ult soon.
I am right here. Like I just straight
Oh my
throw.
god, Wowie.
Yeah.
Like even if you didn't like get clipped by the geometry there of the wall, you could have just gone ice walled or slept dart or charged or anything.
I got
So
a
yeah,
I got a little over eager there.
I have a pair.
yeah. But like, this is just like complete unawareness of what you're up against because yeah, you kind of maybe you would have gotten away if this little like rivet in the wall here wasn't here and you were just able to just walk out. But even if you did, it doesn't matter because you going past like this line is a throw in itself. Because Maywall could happen, charge could happen, sleep dart could happen,
I misplayed that really hard. I thought I was supposed to.
Wall,
all that stuff, and like you know this stuff, so it's really just a matter of being awake or not.
Yeah, it was just
Back up.
a straight throw.
Combo when you get back.
What do you think causes that?
Just autopiloting,
Skill, by the way.
honestly. Not thinking about what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, fella.
Are you going to try to not autopilot? Because really this is one of the greatest challenges of most solo queue players in general is how do they play and not just turn their brain off and go through the motions and then feed. Because that happens like it's pretty much why most people like randomly feed.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Probably not spamming too many like comp games if I'm starting to tilt a little bit, just take a break. Not having a bunch of like don't have anything playing in the background really. Just focus on the game.
That could help.
Outskill,
I also
by the
think you're not I don't hear how much you're talking, but one of the things that really keeps me from autopiloting is just being engaged with the
way. I have
game.
a pair.
And by that I mean like that's why I try to talk so much. Like the reason why I call out everything and like try to communicate as much as possible isn't just, you know, because it's a good thing to do, but it keeps me awake and like engaged with the game and the game situation because I mean there's always like that thing, you know, how people say like if you try to remember something it's easier to remember if you just write it down even if you never look at it.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing kind of applies for saying things. So if you say out loud to your team when like a Hanzo ulted, like of course your team's probably aware that Hanzo ulted. But if no one's saying it, then they're gonna come back 10 seconds later and the fight is over and they're gonna be like, did Hanzo use ult? And then you're gonna be like, I don't remember. And then you're gonna not know what to do in the next fight. But if you just say it, someone on your team is hopefully gonna remember, and probably yourself as well, because you actually took the time to use your brain and muscles to say Hanzo ulted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's just basically engaging yourself into the game,
Right.
making sure that you understand what's going on and stuff.
So like as you're rolling out a spawn here, you could think to yourself, they have a Mei, so that you just tell your team, hey, don't get ice walled. And that's not just a reminder for your team, it's a reminder for you as well. Because that's gonna help your team.
Get out of there, Scoobs.
And that kind of stuff
Yo,
is important.
outskill by the
What? Hold up.
Get out of there.
Can Doomfist players figure this out? Didn't they change Doomfist's bullet spread to be like 12 bullets? Is this just a client side thing?
Maybe some of them hit the Junkrat. No, he's full health. I recorded these yesterday, so I don't
Yeah.
think there's any patches before that.
School
10 mysteries science
Yo,
can't
old
answer.
skill, by the way.
Let's come next fight, Zarya.
Hey,
What's
we
up?
can probably find a
Look your grabs, look your grabs.
Alright,
So yeah, you would just be a little bit more awake talking here, and maybe your team also wouldn't be voluntarily feeding into an ice wall potentially, which is what happens.
Did they have a
So
base? We
like,
need to
this
knock
isn't
them
even just
out.
about you feeding. Even if you didn't walk up and feed, the fact that you're not talking to your team and trying to get them aware of what's happening, may have caused them to die. Because like, here's the thing, like in solo queue, your teammates are, it's like here. Where's the scoreboard, dude?
It's a little bit further back.
Like, here's how you approach solo queue. It is 6 potatoes versus 5 potatoes and you. Your job in solo queue is to not be a potato. And if you do, statistically, you will win more games than you lose. Because if in every game there is, you know, just one person that makes the difference, you're going to be that person one time out of 12, right?
Yeah.
So while you can't win every game, all you can do is be good enough and be awake enough to not be one of the potatoes. Because one of your games you're going to be up against, you know, the Torb God, and he's going to carry his team, and if you're not, you know, awake enough to match his wokeness, then it's just an auto loss. And then hopefully someone else on your team is an all-star, and then bam, you have 2 awake people versus 1 awake person, and then you just win by default. That's how solo queue works.
Gotcha.
Get out of there, school.
So by trying to wake up your team and tell them like all these things that are going on, like tell them, hey, don't go overextend into ice wall, it's going to help a lot more. And it's also really important to build that habit, because that also applies to team play. Because in a team environment, you'd think, oh, everyone's, you know, good. But even when players are like amazing, not everyone can see everything in a team environment.
Back up a lot.
And especially DPS players, I mean, like, obviously it's a stereotype that DPS players are monkeys and don't use their brain, but at the end of the day, even the best DPS players can't pay attention to everything because they're putting a lot of their brain power into their mechanics and, like, micro positioning of things that they can see and, you know, shoot. So they kind of rely on their tank and support players to call out, you know, macro things like that.
I'm on you.
I'm gonna break it, I'm gonna break it.
So right here, are you good to go?
Thanks, fella.
You charge up. You killed a main, you killed him. Yeah, it's okay to go up.
Can you heal me?
If the mate was alive, I probably wouldn't have went.
Yeah.
I'm on you.
I'm gonna
It's
break
more
it.
just about, like, is your team
I'm gonna break it.
with you?
It was
Because I know you had some rolling out of spawn still.
Lucia was almost back, and that was a 4v4.
Oh, that was too much.
You'll be fine.
Oh, I got stunned.
Big grab, big grab.
Got stunned.
On right
I
side.
would. Yeah,
Oh, so close.
that was rough. Actually, if you could shatter the turret, it actually could have been shattered. And you would have hit them all. Because the turret would have killed you if you don't.
Yeah, that's
But
all.
you can shout at the
Yeah,
turret.
you could shatter turrets. They get stunned.
I can't believe I didn't know that.
I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna go right
that, that would have been helpful.
I'm on scaling them. Oh, I got out skill.
Outskilled.
I don't know if they get stunned longer, like how Sombra Hack does stun longer. But you can shatter them.
Hello, just kill the Pharah, guys. Lol.
Yeah, just click her head.
Never tried that.
Easy.
This right has shatter, yeah.
Outskilled. I'm gonna attack.
Oh no, didn't your team get shattered? What happened? Yeah, they're Ryan shattered. So they don't have shatter.
Hello, just kill the Pharah, guys. Lol.
Yeah, just click her head. Easy.
Somebody click the fire, please.
Okay,
So,
you got it.
The point.
now you have to start thinking about the old Tico, because this is another thing that you want to start building a habit for, because you want to go much farther than just Master or even GM. Because this kind of stuff, I mean, I would just tell it to anyone just because it's worth to know. But when you're going to be playing, you know, against teams that are like thinking, this kind of fire strike you do is not going to roll. And, like, I say that after doing it like all the time, but you know, it's just whatever. Because right now, is the other team committed to a fight?
please.
No.
They're kind of backing up.
Yeah, they're kind of backing up. So any damage that you're giving while you have full ultimate charge, okay, Doomfist, maybe they do want to engage. But any damage you're giving them, your cooldown goes down and their support ult charge goes up.
Yeah.
And of course, if you were
Start
building
flanking
ults,
right
like
side.
whatever, go for it.
Yeah, but at this point, I'm just giving him free ult charge.
Yep. And hey, there's a nano that it probably had anyway. Because like, here's the thing, like this kind of play, it usually doesn't make a difference. This is like why this kind of stuff you don't really need to climb. But I have, on very rare occasions, have attributed some winning team fights in solo queue to me not feeding ult charge, you know, for no good reason,
I'm gonna go stall. I'm gonna
by
go
just doing poke damage.
stall. I'm in
It
big
is
red.
worth thinking about. But like the number of times where that's happened, I would say I could count on one hand.
I think it'd be good if you don't.
What?
Oh, Gomar,
If I
I
go
just
what?
died.
It's probably not going to make a huge difference, but it's something you need
Yeah.
just to think.
But of course, at higher level, it is a bigger difference because teams will actually take advantage of it. They're like, hey team, this Ryan's throwing random fire strikes when he already has ult. Let's just all take damage and then I'll get my Ana ult charge, like 50 extra %.
Oh wait, when do you get another DPS?
You know, if you're playing against a good team.
Switched. I don't know.
Shot one. Fish up for you.
There you go.
Oh, huge. I'm dead.
Turn around.
Fire from spawn.
Hey, it won't matter. You could turn around just to hide your head hitbox
The turret's gonna kill the tire.
when you're getting frozen, but they wouldn't have saved you there anyway.
Hide it.
Is it-
Yeah, it was right next to the turret. It was pretty much.
It's
I'm gonna go
molten.
heals,
Watch out,
please.
it's molten. It's molten.
I don't know why we got off healer.
Alright.
I know, dude.
That's fortunate.
Ana one killer.
100% calculated pin.
One of them.
Ana still one.
Get on point.
Big jump. Holy.
Doomfist is up.
Is this the one where I jump into the wall? Yep.
The turret just tanked my punch. Ana's one again.
Ryan up.
There we go.
Ana half. She named herself.
Like,
Doomfist
this is
up.
an example where your communication might actually be hurting you. Because if you call that you're on this Doomfist as soon as you start, you know, doing damage to Doomfist, there is a chance that someone shoots him before, you know, he kills you and gets, because they only need 1 damage. Lucio could have just sneezed on him and maybe it saved you.
Ryan up.
It's unlikely in this situation because you were probably just going to die to whoever else was next to you. But like, especially with Winston, like you want to make like a real habit out of target calling on Winston, because any team that you want to join will expect you to target call as Winston, especially in the middle of a fight. Not always on the initiation, but like in this kind of situation, you need to be able to like say who you're jumping on and where you're gonna bubble, yada yada. So you should have that as a habit, because like
Drawing.
Yeah.
it's the kind of thing where I don't even have to think about it. I just, like, you get to a point with your comms to where, like, let's just say, like, to play Winston, if you wanted to jump, you had to hit 2 different buttons. Like, you hit your jump button, then you hit, like, I don't know, caps lock. Eventually, you would learn to do it, right? And eventually, you wouldn't even think about it because it's muscle memory, right?
Yeah.
Well, you do the same thing with your communication. You're like, in order to play Winston and do damage, you think, I have to jump and I have to say the person I'm about to shoot. And eventually, you just do that enough to where you don't even think about it and it doesn't even, like, affect you. It's just easy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so in solo queue, I should just be basically
Yeah.
constantly talking.
Right, because solo queue is, like, your practice farm. And, like, this is a thing that all tier 2 players fail to understand, by the way. Where when you're playing solo queue, it isn't your meme time. Solo queue is not, because like obviously solo queue is not scrim time. It's not like anything even close to what 6v6 is like right now or ever. Well, except for like season 1. They're 2 different games. But when you're playing solo queue, not to like become an amazing 6v6 player, you're playing solo queue to build your own habits and practice your habits to be a better 6v6 player. So part of that is your communication. So in solo queue, it doesn't matter if your team is like feeding. It doesn't matter if your team doesn't follow up on your calls. All that matters is that you know what you need to do to improve your gameplay, and you just practice it until it becomes a habit. Because a lot of what Overwatch is just performing on habits. I mean, we're talking about autopiloting before and muscle memory, and that's really just kind of like what a lot of your competence is going to come down to, is when you just do it. So for comms and target calling, it's just like, you know, you just play enough Winston, you force yourself to like call who you're shooting so much in solo queue, and then you go into scrims and you don't even have to think about it, and no one's gonna have to tell you, can you please target call? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is the time that you do it, and like it doesn't matter if your team thinks you're idiots or whatever. It's just about building the habit.
We have minimal.
It's basically just make sure I'm playing solo queue to improve,
Right.
not necessarily to win.
Right. And it's like, it's not even like these things aren't improvements that won't help you, like in solo queue, but that's like, it's like the freaking Street Fighter thing, dude. It's like you need to play, if you just focus on improving your fundamentals and stuff, you'll improve eventually anyway. You don't need to like do this one weird trick that'll get you to win every game of solo queue. Because that's like the NA way of mentality. That's what Ken tries to do in Street Fighter. And it never works out for him, and then Ryu always becomes better. Meanwhile, okay, you saw the Mei at the start.
Yeah, I called it out, I think.
Yeah. See, this is the kind of thing that's like, this is like me trying to go downstairs to take my sleep medicine every night, where you see it and you know that it's there, but then you completely forget about it by the time you actually go out on the field. So this comes back to what I was saying earlier about engaging in the game, where like you see Mei and you have to start thinking immediately, how do we play against it? Because if you're going to play this comp, when you're Ryan, Zarya, you know, Anna, whatever, McCree, freaking everybody is grounded except for Doomfist. So you have to like either, I mean, of course in a team environment, you're definitely going to have to like go through the theater and just jump over the wall probably. Because getting through the ice wall pressure at the choke is really difficult. But hey, maybe Mei will just mess it up because it's solo queue, masters, whatever. But it's not necessarily something you want to play into, because now your Zarya's gonna die. Now you have to wait, and it's like, it's just not worth the effort.
Yeah.
But if you call that out to your team, then maybe you get over the choke and things could be different. And now you have to, yeah, now.
We should run a Pharah.
Yeah.
Oh, Fortune and Ice Wall.
Ooh, nice. Showed one. One on the left.
Yeah, I was trying like, to walk
Yeah,
in,
it's
walk
okay.
out and bait it.
In the situation that this Ryan is getting pocketed and maybe gets a Zarya bubble or whatever, and you know isn't discorded and a free kill, what's the misplay you made here?
On the left.
Hold on, it's about to show up on my screen.
Showed one.
If he was getting like pocketed or like had bubbles or something,
Yeah.
probably just keep shield up in case he has shatter. Or,
There's no way he has shatter by this point. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. What I'm gonna say is that you reset your swing, because this swing pushes him back further into your team, and you know that's good. Then you do this swing, and it could have potentially launched him all the way back into your team, especially because your Brig decided to stun and flail at the same time. So if that Rhine didn't die there immediately, you may have just caused the Rhine to get to safety. But if you swing, hit your shield button as soon as your first hammer hits, and then you swing again, the Rhine gets like pulled back into your team even further.
He's left.
okay.
And that's really powerful if you are ever on the right side of Reinhardt, so you could actually do that, because you know you can't do it from the left side because Blizzard, good game design.
Press W, press W.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
guys from here.
May no cooldowns.
Great coach.
There's two on the left.
You could have hit on a quicker here. Have we talked about the Reinhardt hammer hitbox? Because you're not trying to swing with it. Yeah, you totally could have hit Anna, pretty sure. Let's pull up Overwatch real quick. I go over this like almost every time with Ryan VODs, but this should be... I don't know why this information just isn't out there for everyone at this point, but anyway. With Reinhardt, the hitbox of Ryan's hammer swing is a rectangle. It's not a circle. And what that means is that if you're in range to hit something, and it's just barely out of range, if you turn your camera, it'll hit. And because there's the points of the rectangle, you know, go out left and right because, you know, good hitbox design. So when you're walking up to like this Anna, you do that. But if you do that and turn to the right, you could still hit them. See how like I miss, but then I walk in and turn right.
And you hit it.
Yeah. And do that. And it's not going to matter here because, of course, Mana's going to die anyway. But, you know, in other situations, you maybe miss a kill and maybe Anna, like, nanos someone and then things go bad.
Yeah.
We have
They
combo.
spawn on the right, be careful. Mace here. I'm gonna try and walls off maybe. Let's kill her,
I'm not there with you guys. Careful.
Sorry, I didn't need to
Check
charge.
on
Yep. Oh, I saw I was going to kill you.
Stuck on. Hello?
Oh, you got stuck on the wall. That's unlucky. So, yeah, you're Ryan Zarya, whatever. Yeah, you kill their Ryan so they don't have, whatever. You're down both bubbles. Yeah, your Zarya wants charge, but,
We have
you
combo.
gotta remember what you're up against.
Mace here. I'm gonna try and walls off maybe. Let's kill her,
I'm not there with you guys. Careful.
Like, literally at this moment when McCree dies, I would charge backwards.
Sorry, I didn't need to charge.
Check on
Just 180 charge. Well, Ice Wall is still down too. But now it's gonna come up and, yeah,
What am I
that
stuck
also
on?
happens. That was maybe a little excessive from the Roadhog, but hey.
I was really confused at how I got up there.
Oh, okay.
So as soon as we lost the body, should just immediately
Oh, we
charged
have
out.
no graph. Oh, yeah. Hanzo, you ready?
They don't have Zen.
Yeah. No, they use fucking.
Doesn't matter.
Nice.
I'm pushing up. Someone should come with me.
I'm with you.
He's alright. I'm probably gonna nano you to try energy. So try to
Yeah,
maintain it.
I like it. I like it. Hey, low. No ice spray.
This is on the right.
One payload.
That'd be Genji.
Help our Zarya get more energy.
I'll come plant.
This is, it's okay, but it's really scary. It'll help your Zarya a bit.
I'm higher energy.
Big diamond.
It's probably a shatter battle. Actually, you're just gonna have to get out of the way from that.
I'm dead here.
Hog hub. Hog hub behind.
I mean, I respect it.
He's low in here. I'm higher energy.
Zarya get more sleep.
Big diamond.
We need something bigger than that.
You're talking about the shatter?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I was kinda... I didn't really
Big diamond.
respect how many people we were down people, and I thought maybe if I shattered I could keep them alive, and then I only hit the Rhine, and yeah.
Yeah, I think you were thinking you were gonna hit someone else that was gonna try to chase
Hog
you.
hub behind.
You got plenty of ult charge back at least.
He's low in here. He's low.
But there was a lot of cooldowns up. Like you can't
Spray.
like this May's gonna get her ice block back, and she still has ice wall, so your
That'd be Genji.
good May players
Help our Zarya
will
get more energy.
react to your earth shatter.
I'll come plant.
So you're not really able to shatter them until they have that ability down for good. Right now she has it up again. Ryan still has shield.
Big diamond.
I'm dead here.
And also you could have just charged. Like that Ryan also has charge, right? But if he's gonna trade charge, there's nothing you can do anyway. Like your team's also just really divided because of the wall. It's just not a good look.
Behind.
Yeah.
Just like behind you.
Trying to think there's anything else you could have done. I guess if you really want to like be like super big brain,
Yeah, I like it.
you could see that Mei uses her block and maybe try to go for a shatter on her while she doesn't have anything. She'll ice wall if you get too close, but then she'll be completely zoned.
Help our Zarya get more energy.
And then you could try to call for maybe we need some high ground plays, because
Just like behind you.
is your team dealing with a Roadhog? Apparently dealing with a Roadhog.
Help our Zarya get more energy.
Hog on point.
Yeah, there's a hog on point. I think you turn for the hog here.
I'm high energy.
Big diamond.
You're only down one the moment that you shattered, so it's not that bad of a decision,
Hog hub.
which is why I was kind of like, maybe.
I shouldn't have I don't think I should have shouted there.
He's low in here. He's low.
But from that point, it was just too hard for anyone to follow up anyway, including yourself, because there's a big old blizzard on the
Sorry,
point.
Can you make me a favor?
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Wait, are they doing it?
Grab before my dragon.
What's up?
It was honestly more of just a panic shatter.
Okay.
I was thinking like maybe if I shatter I can keep him alive, but I don't think I should have done it.
Yeah. Hey, looking back to make sure your team is still with you.
I'm gonna charge him if you're still behind you.
You should probably put down your shield to regenerate some when there's an ice wall in front of you. That ice wall ain't doing damage.
Yeah, honestly, I was worried they were gonna drop it and shatter. But yeah.
Yeah, well, at that point, you could just react
Me on me, I need help.
like that. You got the reactions.
I tried, dude.
Why did I just shatter? Hello?
Big
behind.
shatter.
That's alright.
Yeah, sir.
No,
Pull.
water soften.
Is
Oh
behind.
yeah,
Coming from
huge.
your side. Told you.
I feel like I
Oh,
shatter a
so
lot of the
good
time
gameplay.
without even thinking about it. Like
Same.
that.
That's the other thing, is that you should, along with target calling, when it comes to Ryan, you should really,
Not with you guys.
calling out that you want to shatter, like, the moment it's in your brain, not like you want to shatter.
Dude,
That is... You are so lucky. Holy...
That's right. Oh, yeah, I almost got hooked off the edge.
The payload just comes in and breaks the chain. Holy...
He does hook me off the edge later too.
Oh no. Spoilers.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Big Overwatch League game.
Hold behind. Behind. Help. Hug maybe. Hug maybe.
We end up not capping it, I think. Yeah.
He'll ride, he'll ride.
Behind. Help. Hug maybe.
Upon seeing the Nano Genji dash behind you, I would instinctively just 180 charge.
Maybe.
Not just because you have the chance of killing him, but also because you need to get out of here. But you might as well take the route that also maybe kills him sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I turned and thought about doing it, but then I just didn't.
Watch out for their Maywall and then do the high noon if you're gonna do it.
Did they do anything besides grab besides hog?
Yeah, sorry. Can you make me a favor? Don't get grabbed before my dragon again.
Thank God you're getting these Zarya bubbles.
I'm dead.
Don't go in. Don't even go in. Don't even go in. Hanzo just sit back and normal. They wasted that meteor strike. Yeah, it got me out of the mail there.
That was...
That was rare.
Wait, Hanzo, you want a bubble when you ult? Is that what he said?
He said don't be your ult before. Calculated pin. You guys look like you're gonna get it about the same time.
Alright, so now is a good time to check yourself and make sure you wake up. This is the part where you have to think about what else do they have. I don't know if you remember just from watching the VOD from the past like minute,
They just May ulted. They shouldn't have Nano Genji yet.
right? They use that.
Yeah, they have Doomfist ult. They probably have Hog ult. They used it not super long ago, but I think they probably have it by now, and they have Shatter.
Okay.
You guys look like you're gonna get it about the same time.
Like he's just like sad.
Yeah.
because the stream is muted. So if they
Yeah,
use any
that's
of
fine.
it,
Nice. I have it soon.
Well
Hey,
done,
Walt.
Frank.
You're dead. Oof. That's my kind of shatter.
Nice.
So this is just like kind of autopilot walking, right?
yeah.
Like it's hard because you know it's May,
Sad.
but you need to be able to walk in like as close to your team as possible. So that you even because like oh you even get a pick, it's
Well done, Frank.
it's sad.
Yeah, and then I panic shatter on top
I
of
have
that.
it soon.
Well done, Frank.
Couldn't get you. Oh, we don't
I
have
would have
it?
just died
Oh,
a second
no.
sooner. I wouldn't have done that. Sadly.
Mm.
Yeah, my bad.
Then they
Right,
use-
so they use
did
nano
it.
shatter.
Oh,
Oh,
we don't
the
have
team
it?
grabs.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow, a team sure put a lot of ults into that after Ryan died. Like in these kind of situations when people like go for like ults post like a pick, if it's the Ryan that got picked, that's like being down 2 people.
Yeah, and we had the combo up too to win us the game.
Yep. Is him not fire strike on cooldown not giving away the fact that he has shatter? If a team is like
Here's
paying attention, they'll know you'll have shatter anyway.
skills in the back.
What's
lane.
important is that you don't give them like another nano that they don't deserve.
Yeah, I mean sometimes in solo
Good
queue,
night.
I think
I'll just sleep right side.
they probably
Yeah,
don't
okay.
realize that I just kind of throw fire strikes at the
Mhm.
shield and try not to
Jeez,
hit
Come back
anyone.
with another
But
main tank.
So another thing here is that like
Back lane.
how do you shield up here? Like this is not really paying attention to Fog of War, because even if there is no hog here, when you're walking up to like, let me draw it out. So like, here's the choke you're walking up into, and here's like the pit of despair. And then there's this room, you know. So when you are walking up this way, you're holding your shield to face like this direction, but there's literally no reason for you not to just hold your shield in like this direction. Is there?
no, so like slanted.
Right.
Kind of.
Because like this is the kind of thing that you really pick up when playing Orisa, where you kind of want to angle your shields to cover as many angles as possible. So if you can throw a shield at like a slight angle so it still covers your front but also a flank angle, then you just do that 100% of the time. So as you're walking out here, you're cutting your vision off from like this whole area, and your vision is now spent on like this part of, I could just trash it. Like this wall, there's nothing over here to see, and there's a bunch of stuff to see over in this direction, and you should be hungry for that information. And you also should be paranoid about potential flanks, so you should just be habitually tilting your shield in this direction, so that you have more vision on your, literally on your computer screen, and also that you have more protection from potential flanks. Because like, even if that's not a hog, you could just like get headshot by a widow or Discord orb from a flank Zen, and then they push you, like, you know, that kind of stuff could happen.
If it's ready though.
I'll just sleep right side.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Jeez.
Come back with another main tank.
Kagey's gonna wave flank.
And like,
now.
I explain all this because, unlike some people, I'm not just trying to tell you what the correct answer is to just like, oh, hey, tilt shield here so you don't get hooked. But like, this isn't just about you not getting hooked. This is about like you optimizing your vision and optimizing like your protection. You know what I mean? Because you should have like, you should have it in your brain. Why is everyone frogging? Did I do something wrong?
Throwing a little bit of shade.
Because it's about your, about like your flowchart and like how you're trying to gather information and what you're using. Because whenever I'm walking around in a situation like that, I'm thinking to myself, I know that there could be someone here. I know that there's a way that, you know, I could die, but you just have to eliminate that possibility, and you have to optimize your performance here. This isn't just about, oh, this is how you died and here's what you could have done. You know what I mean? It's about trying to get your mentality to a place where you're hungry for the information.
What the hell?
What?
So that I'm kind of like doing
Right.
different situations.
It's kind of
where
just
it
like
would-
how I was talking about ult charge. Like, you want to be hungry for the kind of information. It's like holding tab. Like, a lot of people don't even hold tab. Like, you're holding tab a decent amount, so you get a thumbs up for that, because I've coached a lot of people and very few of them actually hold tab regularly. And that's really important because there are a lot of times where people just like, oh, I didn't know they swapped to this hero. Or like, oh, I forgot that they were playing this hero. Like, that kind of stuff is important, and you need to be hungry for that kind of information.
Yeah. So basically, just be actively, more so than I am, just actively seeking out information.
Yeah.
Oh my
he
God.
punched me over the
That
gap.
almost fell.
Come back, come back, come back. Nice.
How about?
Oh, that was lucky.
Mark low. Nice. Get you. Wait, go, go.
He's one.
A fucking idiot.
Toxic.
Yeah, we end up not capping here.
Wait, what?
Man,
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't
Yeah,
know
we
he
don't.
was still
Yeah, we
alive.
don't cap here.
Oh, no way.
One.
I didn't know that Ryan was behind us,
I'm dead.
The one.
and that shatter kind of wins them to the point.
But do you have known the Ryan was behind you?
Oh my
He
God.
punched me over the
That
gap.
almost fell.
Yes.
Let's see. So Ryan dies.
I'm have to.
Oh, you're really fortunate that you didn't get rung out there.
Come back.
Yeah.
How about?
I got punched from right over the gap too.
Mark low. Nice. Get you. Wait, go.
He's one.
But the Ryan died a while ago.
Yeah.
We know he's up. We don't see him.
Yep.
Could
This
probably
is
realize.
fog of war pressure. Now,
Haven't
like,
seen
I
him in a
could
long
understand,
time.
like, maybe the Ryan is thinking, I'm gonna wait and spawn because I know I want to reset with my team and bring out the next person. You know, that would make a lot of sense. So, like, even though you
but then
haven't seen him, it is reasonable to say, like, okay, maybe the Ryan's in there. And then you see a sonic arrow on the left side, and you don't see Ryan. And
That's not even just. No, he's probably
yeah,
behind us.
here it gets a little fishy because you're like, okay, why are these two important characters being rolled out but not with their Ryan? So then I think maybe I don't know if you just looked right side because you don't see anyone. So maybe you would suspect, okay, maybe Ryan's coming back here. So I actually, given the information that was given to you, there is a possibility that Ryan is still inside spawn waiting. Because no one called out that Ryan was going on the flank route. And if someone did, then, you know, obviously it's 100%, but no one called it. So then it just comes down to you reacting to the shatter, which you just literally have to 180 react to as well as you can, or just say, you know, it's a possibility that Ryan come out the other way.
Man,
And that's a 3-minute shatter that
Yeah.
basically wins them the point.
That's quite a shame because how we got there undetected is beyond me.
I'm dead.
It's a mystery,
Don't
man.
want me.
I did not know he was behind us.
I'm gonna tracer on land. I'll do tracer.
I've got.
But let's say this was like maybe, you know, a different situation, because like I said, this isn't just about this situation. Like, you kind of figured it out. It's like, okay, Ryan died, but we haven't seen him come back to try and stall point. That's really suspicious.
Man,
I'm like, you're right, because that gives you some information about what the Ryan would want to do, because obviously if the Ryan wants to just go to point, he would have showed up already. So since he didn't, then obviously something else is going up. And you understand that now, but like probably what happened in game is that you just weren't, you know, thinking about it, you weren't aware. And like, especially when you're rolling in, like especially in stall situations, like after you kill this Genji, you should be looking like at tab longer than, you know, 1 millisecond.
He's one.
Because you want to see like, okay, you see Ryan's alive, but maybe he swaps to like something else, or maybe someone else on their team swapped. That's going to change your decisions.
Man,
But another other thing is that just by, you know, going over this long enough, you're going to recognize the situation. Like, I hope you're watching, because I'm replaying this not just because, you know, I'm talking about it, but also this situation's going to come up again.
Yeah, trying to get to like
man,
replay in my head.
Yeah. Like, that's another thing. Like, we were talking a lot about habit forming, and one of the things that's really important is in this game is recognizing patterns and being like, okay, I've been in this situation before that I know that someone would want to do this.
man,
I didn't know he was still alive.
And that's just, you know, like a lot of game sense just comes down to experience. Like a lot of people say, hey, how do you get game sense? How do I have good game sense? And a lot of it is literally just, it's just pattern recognition. Like player will do something like, you know, they predict that a player's going to be at this spot and then they kill them or whatever. And then someone in chat is like, wow, oh my God, Hollywood streamer, how did you know you have such good game sense? How are you so good? How do I do it? What's the secret? you know, but really the answer is just they've probably seen it before like 20 times. Because if you play the game a lot and you're good at recognizing patterns, you will have good game sense.
Touch.
Oh no, it's 10 seconds.
But like,
I also think I think I need to go over my own VODs more than I do.
yeah,
Yeah, my bad. I had a bad grab.
and that was that. Was there another VOD?
There is another short one on Junkertown. If you want to go over that.
I'm down.
Alright. You can just skip the first part of it where you can see my win rates on Orisa.
I'm ready.
Go ahead and skip that part. Yeah, there we go. We'll just leave it at it's bad.
What? Oh. Wendy's or McDonald's? Wendy's easy.
I play Orisa this entire game.
Oh boy. Holding on high ground, it's fine. I guess. Movement so far is fine. Playing back at cover. Whittling down shield, taking the time. It's good. Yeah, you should win this fight. As long as you don't die here.
What's it gonna do behind you, Ren?
You're still at 100 health? Okay, you're good. You kind of took too much damage, but you weren't walking back to your shield. It's pretty scary. That's going to get you punished a lot more against double sniper, but they're playing freaking quadruple not sniper or something.
Quadruple not sniper indeed.
Yep. Oh my god, you're so fortunate. Like, that's the thing. Like, you got...
Is this where
Huh? Go ahead.
I was waiting to see. Yeah, that's where I shielded up when I shouldn't have and then ran into the corner.
Yeah. Like, wait, did you run into the corner by accident?
Honestly, I was just turning around and trying to not get headshot.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that you turned around and do that. Like, that's why I turn around a lot. Just to, like, get less headshot damage. And also to walk faster. Because you walk faster moving forward than holding the S key. But when you are going to go for, like, this value play, because, like, you throwing the shield into the air is a value play. It's bad now, but it's much better in, like, the next 5 seconds than the play to just throw it on the shield is. You know what I mean by that? A value play?
You mean, like, trying to maximize cooldowns
Like,
and shield duration?
Like, basically, like, here's a timeline. Okay, blue is not the right color for this. So here's a timeline. Option A, you put your shield down now. This is really effective for, like, this amount of time. And then you won't get your next shield until, like, this point in time. Or you could throw your shield up in the air, and then it will land at this point. And then you still get your next shield at the same spot. So then this play becomes good for this amount of time. Because there's no downtime between your two shields. You'll just get your next shield, you know, at the same point regardless. So
Yeah.
This first play, play number 1, this is a tempo play. Because it's good right now. So if all you need to do is to have your tanking uptime be in this next moment in order to, like, win or get a kill, you do the tempo play. But in play number 2 this is the value play, where you preset the shield, walk away, do no tank uptime, and then your tank uptime becomes longer. But it's worthless during this first 5 seconds. So that's the difference between tempo and value. Clip it, send it to everyone. Now you understand what I'm talking about when I say these words.
Okay.
So you go for the value play, but you're not, like, ready to, like, deal with that downtime. But you make it out alive, so now your shield gets a bunch of value, then you have your next shield, and then, like, you know, you're invincible.
Yeah, it was probably a little bit risky to do it right there.
Yeah, then you fortify for nothing, but hey, look at all these shields. They can't blow through it. The value.
He's on. I can't see you, buddy. Loading. Oh, okay. What? Oh, he died.
Does that shield land on the... I throw one of these
Hey,
shields
so
in the air and
what-
it lands up top.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
If I'm thinking of the right game.
Okay, I'm looking this bitch. She's one.
It's good guiding. Good. You actually made it out.
Oh, that was easy.
Oh wait, no you
No,
didn't.
I died.
Hey, bro,
I almost made it out.
Yeah. Fuck.
I get res though.
I'm doing terrible. I gave
The
my
road dog,
trash
the road dog.
to play.
Just waiting for that one.
Wait, Doom didn't die.
She's gonna res hug.
Oh no.
Nice. Yo, I fucked their hog. Holy shit.
I was trying to find him. When I
Sorry.
first spawned.
Oh, is he throwing?
Widow almost killed me there off the reflect.
Well, you somehow managed to stabilize. You tanked like one damage boosted headshot, which could have gone to your teammate, I
Can you shock?
guess.
Can you shock? I can hug.
I need to hydrate. Right. Huh.
Fuck, dude. Can you shock? Can you shock? I can hug. Fuck, dude. You res?
Alright. I think you may have needed to micro your hog here. By the way, on the topic of microing, since I know you want to be on teams, if anyone tells you, or if anyone says I shouldn't have to micro my teammates, they are
You're
dumb.
wrong.
Microing is literally the most OP communication practice any team could have. But people hate it because they're like, why are you telling me what to do? You think you know what to do better than me? That's literally people's mentality when they don't like to be microed. Because right now, like, you're going to be on a team and your hog player is going to do this. They're like, hey, go for this, halt hook, I'm going to do it. But, like, they need to be told, hey, the shield's back here. And I don't want to use it yet because if they don't, you want to have shield advantage. And he's just going to go for this play and it's going to be like, man, why are you so bad, you know? But then, like, if you, like, try to micro them, they'll be like, why are you telling me what to do? I don't want to be microed. Why are you using up all this valuable comm space? And, like, you know, there's people like that, okay.
Is it still right too?
But literally, like, that's a situation where you could have saved that play by telling Hog to walk back, or, like, communicating with the Hog to wait, like, a little bit longer so you can, like, make a shield, you know, further up for him or something. Or to get some value out of your original shield. Like, you just break their shield first, and they would trade with your shield, then you have a reason to make a new shield, and it's not so wasteful. Because you had your shield cooldown, but I understand not wanting to use it there, because, like, let's actually go back and look. Like, you make your shield here,
I'm just waiting it out.
and, like, you could take this time, like, you have your shield cooldown. You should actually take this time right now to just make your next shield. Like, you could walk up here, and then just throw it up right now. And then you could continue to use the shield. And then when Hog asks for this, you'd be like, wait 2 more seconds for the shield to drop, so that way you actually have some protection. Because he's actually in danger of the same thing. Like, he's... Like, here's the thing. He wants to do a halt hook, but he's literally out in the open with no shield against a Hog and Orisa as a Roadhog. So he's about to get halt hooked if he doesn't get, like, obliterated by Discord Orb, which he does. But even if he didn't, like, it's over, dude. He should have waited. But, you know, you have to, like, help him out there.
There we go.
Is it still right too?
We get some kills, though.
I'm coming back. Get this in, get this in, get this
Oh
in.
my lord.
That's, unfortunate here.
Is it still right too?
You didn't really need to
Get
fortify.
this in, get this in, get this in.
Yeah, I think it was more of a panic for
Yeah.
when I got thrown in the open and I saw there were people on my right.
Is it still right too?
Yeah, it's because he got halted. The thing is like, in the Orisa matchup,
Get this in, get
literally
this
the
in,
one
get
who
this in.
uses Fortify first is like the one in victory. Because right now that Orisa still has Fortify, I'm pretty sure. If she's good, she's gonna walk into your shield and fortify you and halt you again away from your shield, and you just can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Because like you have no cooldowns. Like here she comes, she's gonna walk into your shield. Oh, she's not. Okay, that's strange.
We're all bad Orissas at this rank.
True.
My shots.
He should be on point as much as he can here.
Mercy's half.
Stall for time, if anything. That's another thing. Always try to make a habit out of dying on point on defense
Larissa.
when you know you're not gonna live. So at the very least, stall card. Is your team doing it? Holy moly!
Yeah, we do it. Like I said, this game's a lot shorter.
This one's 1.
Doomfist one. This one.
Hey, he ulted.
You'll win this.
Big skill tracer.
Big.
Nice.
That worked out. Yeah, micro is just telling your teammates what to do.
Oh,
Like saying, hey, walk backward. Hey, do this. Hey,
thought it was
I'm gonna, you know, whatever. It's like especially important with Ana players, and like it's kind of a lost art. Like legit Ana players and like scrim environments would just literally micro everyone. Be like, hey, this character walk this way. You walk this way. Please walk back. Hey, you guys need like to all walk back while I get this nade off. And like just you know things like Ana players need to have ridiculous comms in 6v6, but obviously Ana is not played right now.
Thankfully. Actually, never mind. I take Ana over Mercy.
Yeah, Ana's a good hero.
I take Ana over Mercy. I just remember the Nana boosted Ryan with speed boost. That was fun.
I should probably learn a shield that will like shoot up here and like lands right here or something. Probably be pretty good because you have the cover to walk there with just the stairs, I guess. So like this is a really big hook, but how come you didn't scream at your hog that this was going to be the biggest halt of his life?
Yeah, I just need to communicate more.
Yeah, because like that's actually the biggest halt of your life, dude.
I think I got all 6 of them in there.
Quick shield.
Scary. This could have been really bad. If that Zen was right clicking, you actually die here. Because you're down to fortify. Like this is a part of like managing your cooldowns. Like, first off, you fortify for nothing, by the way.
Quick shield.
I used my fortify a little bit too generously.
Because like if you have fortify here, you're kind of okay because you could tank for 2 seconds while your shield gets back up, and you could waste more of their ammo.
No, main tank.
I say wasting ammo in Overwatch, but you know reload actually matters because
Oh, main tank.
let's say that they all shoot you while you're fortified, but they don't kill you. Now like 2 or 3 of them are gonna have to reload while you make your shield. Oh, that must not mean much. It's Overwatch, infinite ammo, haha. But yeah, there's the difference. Look at
Quick shield.
when your barrier dies, and look at how much time is left on your fortify. 3 seconds. So that's 2 of those seconds. Like, there's gonna be 2 seconds where the enemy team is reloading and not doing as much damage to your shield, and that's gonna make this difference. Where now you could link 2 shields without even having to use fortify to cover the gap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
I think
and you might think that like that sounds really like specifically micro, but like I do it all the time against Junkrats and Pharahs in particular, because like Pharah can like 1 clip an Orisa shield, but if you wait for the very last rocket in her clip to make your new shield, the gap between the shields will be gone, and you'll build up shield advantage like over time.
Nice.
But if you just like shield against a Pharah like at her very first rocket, then like it gets really bad.
Is it too low?
Strong right behind you.
And like I know this because this is basically what you have to do whenever you're trying to defend a turret on Nubani B defense, or yeah, A
I'm
defense.
bad.
Can't get the tire in time. Yo, if you have the mercy right now, it'd be huge.
Orisa battle. Hey, you force fortify. So when you force fortify, you should immediately start thinking about your play to like aggress on Orisa. So as soon as I see an Orisa fortify, I'm just like, okay, thanks. And then I just reload and walk away. Because you want to start setting up your full power play like as soon as possible. And like all the damage you're gonna do now is worthless. Like you're not even gonna get ult. So as soon as you see Orisa pop fortify, reload, walk away, get your cooldowns back, get all your ammo back, and tell your team that we're gonna make a push. Because you could almost always make a good guaranteed push on Orisa when there's no fortify. And like if you really want to, like here's like #1 play. Let's imagine Lucio isn't dead, okay? Let's imagine like everything is still okay and you don't actually have to reset because you're support fed. You see fortify, step 1, reload. Step 2, walk this way, and then walk here. Step 3, make a Orisa shield that'll land, and then step 4, hopefully your team doesn't die and get halt hooked, and then when you get to right here and your shield lands, then you'll be able to make a push to kill Orisa's shield, whatever it is at that point. And then you could walk in with your next shield, which will come up in 3 seconds, and she still won't have fortify. And then you halt her in, and then you kill her, and then it's great. That's what I do all the time against other Orisas, if there's room to do the CSGO shield or not. Usually at chokes you can. Like, you don't have to walk over here, for example. You could just stay back here where you are. Because you're in a bit more danger to get halt hooked if you walk up this direction. But, like, from this spot, you could throw a shield up, and it'll land at the same spot. You just have to tilt your mouse just a tiny bit. You can get a feel for it if you practice it enough. And then you would walk up here. You would break this shield. You would pull Orisa closer to you. And then, like, you would just walk past your shield. You would shield yourself, and, like, it'd be great.
Is there a video you know of I could find that has
think
like
they'll throw all
different kind of the CS:GO
Is there
shields?
one
Where
that
you can shoot
No,
from?
I haven't made one. And no one else is, you know, has a good enough work ethic to do that either.
Okay.
But you
Like,
get,
pros
advanced
don't do
stuff, so-
CSGO shields. They only do straight up shields because that's easy to do.
Much liking. There's one.
And like, I had
Oh my
enough
God.
work ethic to like actually come up with the CSGO shields on my own, but
Oh.
not to record
Yeah,
them,
that's
which is why I don't
yeah.
have any YouTube
Why are you
videos.
this dude?
Rest in peace. You know, I've saw some on your stream that I can kind of replicate, but only like 1 or 2.
Did you look like?
I think if we get 2 people just go in and get picked here, give her that
Right.
next fight.
Well, you are pushing into a bongo. So the thing about bongo is like, this is not a great bongo because it's an ult that's easy to disengage from. But you don't disengage from it. Like, as soon as you see that, you should just scream at your team, I'm running kite. Because you have fortify, you could walk away. Just run.
Just walk away.
Yeah. Because soon enough, it's going to be over. And you could shoot the shield from an angle where you can't get damaged, just around the corner, and still pressure them. Ouch. He had fortify still.
Nice kills, nice kills, nice kills.
So you effectively disengaged somehow, even though... How did you actually get away from this? Because wasn't there a Roadhog supercharge ulting your face?
Yeah, I fortify and then I just put the shield, and he kind of just shoots the shield instead of me.
That's something, dude. Yeah,
Yeah, I
you should
kinda walk
have
out of
got
shield.
melted.
Yeah, I waste my bongo, I think.
No, it helps.
Nice kills,
Supposedly.
nice kills, nice kills.
Yeah, it goes away there, but you know, we'll take it.
Taking credit for the 2 kills.
Nice. That's done. Genji.
We have Valglade next.
Genji. You can use cycle. Fucking. Can't do anything about that. It's fine.
Good. Good reaction. Holy.
Is that the tire or? It's the. The tire still hits me. I don't think the shield saved me.
Oh. Oh,
I think
look,
it was just
it
the
looked
fortify.
cool.
Mercy's one.
Yeah, I know. I thought it saved me. I clipped it.
I noticed. Oh no.
DPS, please kill something.
Reload mechanics.
Genji. Oh, Mercy first, get Mercy
I
first, Mercy
canceled my
first.
reload. I did.
Pull on Mercy res.
Hey, it happened. You did the thing. Alright, let's see this fight again.
You can use Psycho.
Alright, so the hook and the thing opener was really nice. Though it broke, which is really sad. That probably would have just been a win right there.
It's fine.
When you're going up on Ryan, like, let's say that this isn't so easy. Like, let's say the hog was not with you, and Ryan doesn't just want to charge into a fortify and die instantly, so he tries to like tank you and draw your attention away while your other team does stuff. What you can do here, there's a few ways to attack a Ryan that's just like walking away with shield, because obviously if you just shoot his shield walking towards him, you don't catch up to him, right?
Yeah.
So you can halt him straight up into the air, and then you could walk under him, and then you just shoot like his feet. Literally, he stands on top of you. You could do that. You could also, like, let's say the counter to that to Ryan would just be to hold shield up, right? So if you think they could do that, if they played Ryan longer than a month, then maybe you don't do that. But what you can just do instead is stop shooting, walk close enough, and throw the halts like literally inside of their body and detonate it, and then they can't move. And they can't shield it, obviously, because, they can't shield inside themselves. Neither can I. And then you just walk in, you would punch the shield so that you do some damage, then you get in behind the shield, then you shoot his face, and then it would be really good.
Okay.
And then he has to start
Also-
jumping away, and then things get bad, and you just chase with more melees and whatnot.
This is kind of unrelated to the game, but still in context. When you're trying to push, like, say, hybrid map like King's Row, when you're playing Orisa against Ryan, like, I feel like whenever I'm solo queuing on that, I don't have enough shield pressure and I can't walk up. Like, what am I supposed to do
Well,
in that
on
matchup?
hybrid maps, like maps on first points, whenever you have a control point, the CSGO shields that I always do, they're almost always on control points because it's a fixed scenario. Whereas payloads, you could want the shield in one of like 100 different spots, and then it's just, a mess, right?
Yeah.
So to get your shield advantage, you can just do that. Like, that's what I always do on King's Row, where I just come out of spawn, make the CSGO shield, and then I shoot the shield. And what almost always happens is that my shields will get destroyed, but so will Ryan's. And then I get to walk up and put up my next shield before Ryan gets to regenerate all of his. And the more pressure that you could put on the Ryan while his shield is low, the slower he regenerates it, because then he's pressured into, tapping the shield to get a little bit of damage reduction. Like, if you halt him out after, his shield gets really low, he's going to be like, well, I guess I have to hold shield again so I don't die while I'm falling to the ground from the halt. And then by that time, you'll have your next shield, and then bam, you have shield advantage. If you just walk in like normally, like if you're not trying to CSGO shield, you just have to like try to poke. Because your advantage is that you can do damage and regenerate shields, and Ryan cannot. He has to do one or the either. So then it's just a matter of playing it slow. And just focusing on shooting Ryan's shield so he gets to that point where now he's low and he has to regenerate. That's his downtime. That's when you make your play.
Okay. So basically, it's just about just poking and trying to keep shield up.
Yeah, Orisa is a spam hero. Same principles as like Junkrat, Hanzo, whatever. You just play to break shields until you can pressure. It's a poke hero.
Never stop shooting.
DPS, please kill something.
They are.
Genji. Oh, Mercy first, get Mercy first.
So where did you do the thing about reloading that I was freaking out about?
Yeah, I think I canceled my reload.
Yeah, at one point it was fine because he had 130 bullets still.
Got point.
Mercy's 1.
Lucio though.
DPS, please kill something.
They are.
Genji.
I think that was it right there.
Yeah.
Mercy first.
It wasn't so
At 30
bad,
bullets,
but
you push it down.
it is like in that situation, it's pretty valuable to get your shield up because you don't want your team to die. Like that's the tempo play. Like the value play would be to reload and then put down shields. That way there's less downtime later. But
Yeah.
you don't want your team to die right now, so yeah, putting up the shield is probably more value than finishing a reload. Like that's okay. But in some cases you would not want to do that. And also, especially in cases where you're trying to evade damage, like the thing about Orisa is that because, you know, your default state of existence is holding left click, right? So you kind of have to view not holding left click as like your defensive maneuver, because then you get twice the mobility, you know? So whenever you're in like a situation, it was somewhere around here.
What?
Where is it? After you kill
Oh, so like
Ryan
how it's-
and you're on this left side of the payload, you start taking some damage, and there's a lot of people, and you're also low on ammo. And if people start focusing you like this, you just want to reload and just start juking, and like dance around your shield and just move around and get healed, because you kind of have to think of like it's like another Fortify. It's like a really weak version of Fortify. It's just not shooting and juking. Because you're going to take less damage, you're going to take less headshots, and you get to reload during that time. You just don't do damage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
DPS, please kill something.
They are.
Genji. Oh, Mercy first, get Mercy first.
Yeah, and then you win.
Pull on Mercy res.
We win the video game.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
Well, there we go. So, schemes were not so bad. What do you think? What have you learned, dude? What do you think you need to do?
I definitely need to stop autopiloting. Oh, let's not pull that up. Let's not hit that button. I definitely need to stop autopiloting and just like I need to start thinking about more about what I'm doing basically, because I'll just do things without thinking. It'll get me killed more times than not,
Mm-hmm.
which would come from just communicating more and staying more engaged, like with my team in the game.
Yeah.
Then making sure.
Or you could do what all the
like-
pros do and just get an Adderall prescription.
True. And then there's also positioning is kind of when I was playing Orisa and stuff. Basically work on that, and then shield, basically like where and when to use my shield. And fortify. I was kind of wasting fortify cooldowns like crazy.
Yeah. So, getting to a point where you are autopiloting less, like this is actually one of the reasons why I play Orisa, is because with Orisa, there's so much more things to think about that I can't.
you can't really
I can't
autopilot.
autopilot. Like there's no room in my brain. There's no RAM left to like go to something like completely arbitrary. All my brain power has to go on Orisa because I think about so many things. Whereas when I play Monkey, I'm just like drooling on myself, you know?
Jump.
Right.
Left click. Punch.
So eventually you're just gonna have to like get to a point where no matter what you're playing, you're always like looking for. This is why I say you got to be hungry for the information, because that's gonna be part of what's gonna keep you from autopiloting, is like trying to think, okay, what can they do, where can I go, what abilities do they have, what ults do they have. It's that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because you should be hungry for that information, but if you're not, then it shows, because you'll be autopiloting instead of thinking about these things. So you just need to get to that habit where without having to think about it, you start paying attention and asking these important questions about what's going to happen in the future, because that's just, that's what games are. All all competitive games, like versus, you know, anything, like any contest of will, the deciding factor is, you know, can you predict the opponent? At least in, you know, in any competitively good game. Like obviously in rock paper scissors, there's no reliable way to predict your opponent because every option is equally viable.
Yeah.
But, you know, in, you know, your standard issue video game, competitive esport, anything, or one of many different things can happen, all with different varying amounts of value.
Yeah, it's like what's the most probable outcome,
Right.
basically.
So being like the computer that could calculate that kind of answer is how you get good at any game. And then when you get really good, you get into situations where players will do the stupid play on purpose.
They'll never predict me to just run
Yeah.
through their entire team.
It's like it's like dodging skill shots in League. When you're in bronze, you just get hit. And when you're in plat, you like juke with like, you know, some amazing whatever movement. And then you get to like diamond challenge or whatever, and you just walk into the skill shot, and the other player's like, wait, why didn't he juke? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't really think people do that much in this game, because as it turns out, everyone autopilots in this game. So yeah, any other questions, comments, concerns, hard flame?
All of the flame. One question though, do you think it's worth trying to, like right now, trying to find a team and then playing on kind of a lower tier team, or just working on
You can.
basically mechanical by myself and playing
No,
solo
you
queue?
can, if you can find one, because I mean, one, you do want to work on your team play just in general anyway. But a lot, when I was still improving at the game, when I was, you know, bad, you know, season 1, 2, 3, etc., a lot of things that I learned that got me better as a player, even just as a solo queue player, I learned from playing in a team environment. So if you could find a team that like aren't complete apes and, you know, are actually trying to learn about the game as well, then you'll just help each other learn.
Okay.
So it's really just more of a matter of, can you find a team? And that might be the
A
real
team that
challenge.
team that actually wants to get better, that's at my rank, basically.
Yeah. It's rough out there. So yeah.